And we continue at 1:05 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
John, I know we have a lot of good little boys and girls out there, and if you are good and patient, you're going to be treated to the first Ed Lascos of 2026.
And it's on like Donkey Kong.
Okay, nobody screw this up.
How crazy is that?
800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. It is our pleasure to welcome our next guest to the program. She is the Real Clear Politics national political correspondent and the author of Fool's Gold, the radicals, con artists, and traitors who killed the California dream and now threaten us all. Available online at Amazon.com. You can follow her on X at Susan Crabtree. Susan Crabtree, welcome.
It's my pleasure to be with you again. Thanks so much for having me. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. So earlier this week, we found out that the governor of Minnesota, who was seeking a third term as governor of that state, announced that he would not, in fact, be running for re-election. Tim Walz said, amid a huge scandal involving money allegedly being stolen by Somali immigrants who were supposed to be running daycare centers and other non-for-profits where the money apparently was stolen, or at least that's the allegation, and it all happened on Tim Walz's watch. Instead of saying that he screwed up and he's going to figure out how to fix things, he alleged that the allegations were based or coming, I guess, from a place of racism and that he has everything under control. Well, no one's believing that, and that's the end of him as governor in the state of Minnesota. When you look at what's going on in Minnesota, however, it pales in comparison, to my eye at least, as to what's going on in California, where you look at the EDD fraud, for example, where some $30 billion was stolen from taxpayers in the state of California. You look at what's going on with all of these homeless organizations that exist to reduce the number of people living on the streets. We spend, and yet there are more people living on the streets than ever before. You look at what happened with fire aid, where people in the Pacific Palisades lost everything, and we had all of these entertainers get together to raise money for the fire victims, and then the money was raised to the tune of $100 million, and the fire victims say they can't get any of it. And where did the money go? It went to politically connected non-for-profits. If fraud and stealing money and wasted money was enough in Minnesota to end Tim Walz's career, Gavin Newsom could have the same fate, in my opinion. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. I mean, he is on a rampage today on X.com, gaslighting the public to a degree we have never seen before. Gavin Newsom actually put this out on his taxpayer-paid X.com account that Trump is throwing down the gauntlet. Trump threw the gauntlet down on California fraud. Benny Johnson and his team from Turning Point USA is coming out to expose the fraud. I believe Nick Shirley is going to be among those who citizen journalists that come and do the job that the journalists out here aren't doing. And my book, Fool's Gold, does provide a roadmap. And I told Benny Johnson liked that tweet of mine today when I said, please take a look. We have a lot of it laid out. We couldn't include all of it in the book. We had to cut. But he is just unbelievably gaslighting today. He actually said on X.com, Newsom, that if Trump is serious about fraud, he's got a partner in California in wanting to tackle it. A lot of this fraud, the $72 billion that the auditors found, people are talking about outrage in Minnesota for a couple billion. We're talking upwards of $72 billion in California for the things that we know about. I just took a look. If you want to look at corruption in California, all you have to do is look at the behested payments. And it is unbelievable what Gavin Newsom has done directing entities, companies, and even Indian tribes with business before his governorship, with the business for the state, directing him to pay millions to entities like his own wife's nonprofits, documentary, gender justice documentary, filmmaking nonprofits. I've never seen this before in any kind of. I've covered FBI investigations. I've helped launch FBI investigations for members of Congress. We have never seen the level of audacious gaslighting from a governor ever before. I don't know if you know about this tribe, this Indian gambling. It's just reeks of Abramoff-esque. We haven't learned our lessons from Abramoff. Gavin Newsom directed at least $2 million from the Federated Indians of Grayton Rancheria, who have given to almost every aspect of Gavin Newsom, ballot initiatives, his campaign, his wife's charities, opposed a small Indian gambling competing casino from a smaller tribe, the Khoi Nation. And he did this with physical letters to Biden's Interior Department. So it's all documented. And my colleagues over at the Free Beacon broke this last year, but I just can't believe it hasn't risen to more of a scandal. But this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Well, here's where the danger comes. Typically, if you are a criminal and you are doing something that is illegal, or there is fraud that's going on your watch that you would rather have people not pay attention to, however you want to describe it, typically what you're looking to do is to fly under the radar. You don't want people focusing on you. You don't want people digging into your numbers and digging into your dirty laundry. You want people focused on other things. And when the focus becomes you and the spotlight is on you, you're in the danger zone. I mean, you go back to these cartels, these Mexican drug cartels that are getting popped right and left. What happened when they started getting popped by the feds? Well, their kids became social media influencers. Their kids became celebrities of sorts. And they would post where they were, and they would post about all of these lavish vacations and this lavish lifestyle. And every clue that the feds could ever want or need was in those tweets. And instead of laying low and instead of trying to be under the radar, they couldn't help but to brag about their wealth and to brag about the lifestyle that they were living. And typically what that ends up doing is it puts you in jail, or it puts someone in your family who is participating in illegal activity in jail because the government now knows where to find you. Gavin Newsom, it seems, is like these kids of the drug cartel leaders, where he cannot stay off social media for more than 10 minutes. He can't stay off television for more than 10 minutes. His craving for attention, it's just an unquenchable thirst that this guy has, where he needs to be on television. He needs to be talked about constantly. He needs to have the focus on him to be happy. And it looks like that could be his undoing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he is a leading candidate for the Democratic nomination in 2028. And because, Tim Walz had toyed with the idea, and that's how weak the bench is. There is a vacuum of Democratic leadership, and it's being filled by these stories about fraud. And I don't think that bodes well for Gavin Newsom long term. He may peak early and then flame out because my colleague and friend, Amy Reichert, down here in San Diego, she's exposing Somali child care fraud in San Diego, that there are not the number of very little number of children are at these daycares, and she's going through the records in San Diego on a day-to-day basis. She had like 23,000 likes and Lives of TikTok retweeted her. This is going on an unprecedented scale in California. As you know, I've reported on the halfway houses in California that are NGOs taking government money that are being run by felons. Okay, convicted felons. We've got, obviously we have the Shangri-La. Okay, the homelessness NGO that embezzled more than $100 million and has been indicted. The name of the company is called Shangri-La. They were instrumental in Gavin Newsom's Home Keep program. And they were using the money, as you know, from Bill Asaley, U.S. Attorney representing the Los Angeles and this area. Trump appointed. That's the only reason why we got an indictment there, is they were using it for Beverly Hills rent. This is our taxpayer dollars. Birkin bags for his girlfriend, jewelry, and luxury cars like Maseratis. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. It goes on and on in California. High-speed rail, as you know, at least in the $20 billion range of commitment. And the Newsoms, I got into a little X.com fight with the Newsom troll, one of his 8 top aides, Izzy Gordon, the other day, because he cited that as a great union growing jobs. That project has grown a lot of jobs. I drove by it on my way to my aunt's house for New Year's, and it's like the bridge to nowhere. It's just the only place that they have connected is Bakersfield area, and it's like a cement ramp that just goes cut off. It was Bakersfield to Merced is the big, public works project that we need in California right now. It's absurd what's going on in California, and that I reported on so much of it. There were checks that were appearing during COVID at neighborhoods in La Jolla and North San Diego County of $1,800 for kids in wealthy $1 million houses from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. That's where the money came from, but it was Department of Education in California, for no reason at all other than they missed their free lunches during COVID, so they thought that they would rain down money on these families. The fraud and the wasted money goes on in California, and it's just not serving any of the public's interests. It's just going down a rat hole.
Well, let's go back to the fire aid money for a second, because there is no other example that's more of a clear cut of a Hitler versus Bambi scenario, where you have fire victims and fire, and the fire wipes out the fire victims, and now the fire victims lose everything down to their toothbrush. Money is raised to go to help these people put their lives back together. None of the money goes to them. The money goes to politically connected organizations that deal with the homeless, that deal with the transgender issue, and other things that don't have anything to do with the basic needs and necessities that these people are in desperate need of here and now. Why is that not on the front page of the LA Times every day? Because this is a story of people who gave money, assuming that it's going to go to certain places. The money is not going to where it's supposed to go. So you have the people who wrote the checks who are being defrauded. You have the people who need the help who aren't getting the help. They're victims of all of this money being stolen. And yet you can hear about it on talk radio. You can read about it on social media. But in all the places that you would expect to see having expose or having massive story after massive story after massive story, you hear nothing about it.
Exactly. It is a failure of our media. They're an extension. They're supposed to be the fourth estate. They're extension of the one-party system in California. Joel Pollack, who is the new opinion editor for the California Post, and I am looking forward to their entry into the media landscape in California. I really think they're going to shake things up later this month. They're already posting stories. And Joel Pollack wrote, he was at Breitbart previously, he wrote about some of the terrible fraud going on with those donations from Fire Aid. And he said that some of them was going to Native American awareness initiatives. And so he asked, well, how many of these victims in Palisades and the Altadena fire victims are Native American? And he found out the number was like in the low dozens, maybe. I mean, it's a joke what's going on in California. And I've been looking into, and I hope to have some stories about, exclusive stories about that as well in the coming weeks. It is I just hope that the California Post is hiring the right people to really shake things up.
Let's switch gears here for a second and talk about the race for governor, because it is a wide open field. In recent polls, the top two candidates were both Republicans, which we haven't seen that happen in a long time. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco and former Fox News host Steve Hilton finished 1 and 2. What do you make of that race right now? And do you see a Democrat emerging as the party favorite? Because right now, I don't see one.
Right. I don't see one. Unfortunately, I think that Tom Steyer, with his billions, might end up being the front runner for the Democrats because of his billions. Katie Porter has flamed out, rightly so, because of her treatment of her staff and her inability to answer basic questions for a reporter on the air. She threatened to leave because she was asked basic follow-up questions. I mean, this is my experience with Katie Porter, covering her in Congress for many years. This is the one-party system. If they don't feel like they're threatened, they don't have to respond to journalists' questions, and there's no transparency. So she flamed out. We got Alex Padilla. Rob Bonta is in a heap of trouble, legal trouble, as you know, and we've talked about before on your show, with his acceptance of hundreds of thousands of dollars paying out, from his political action committee, which raises a lot of legal questions in my mind, for his attorneys to defend him against this whole issue with Gavin Newsom's chief of staff. Whether he was involved with that or not is a question in my mind. Hasn't been proven yet. Hopefully, Bill O'Saley is working on that extensively. But it's interesting to me that Rob Bonta has not declared. Alex Padilla is not catching fire. So I'm concerned it's going to be Tom Steyer, and Tom Steyer was all about cashless bail, getting rid of any bail system, cash-based bail system in the state. He's a big environmentalist, even though he made his money from non-renewables. We'll put it that way. And it's just, to me, it's just a dearth of talent. So the Republicans are rising to the top, and maybe the two top contenders, because people aren't fooled. But it's early in the race.
Susan Crabtree, Real Clear Politics national political correspondent and author of Fool's Gold, The Radicals, Con Artists, and Traitors Who Killed the California Dream and Now Threaten Us All, available online at Amazon.com. You can follow Susan on X at Susan Crabtree. Susan Crabtree, thanks so much for stopping by. 800-222-5222 is telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, coming up next week, we're going on the road.
Save the date, everyone. Next Friday, January 16th, from noon to 3, we're doing another live broadcast of the John Phillips Show in Sherman Oaks in the San Fernando Valley at the Pineapple Hill Saloon. We love the Pineapple Hill. We love Angela Marsden. She's got a beautiful patio out there, and I checked the weather. It's going to be nice that Friday. So we need you to come out noon to 3, hang out with us. It's a good old-fashioned Jimmy Buffett Friday, but it's also an important show. Susan Shelley's going to join us from the Howard Jarvis Taxpayer Association, because the courts have made it easier to raise your taxes. We need you to come by and sign the petition to save Prop 13. You can work ahead of time by going to saveprop13.com and fill out that petition and send it in. We need to collect enough signatures to save Prop 13, or we're all moving to Texas. So come by noon to 3 next Friday, the Pineapple Hill Saloon and Grill in Sherman Oaks. We'll be there, and so will you.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. And right now, it's time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
We couldn't make this stuff up if we tried.
I said, hell no, baby boy. Let me get up on out of here.
It's the California Crime Blotter.
And we're all in luck because the first edition is an Ed Laskos edition.
Enough already.
We told you about the tow truck that was stealing cars in Rancho Cucamonga. Would you be shocked to know that they're also operating in Carson?
They don't care.
Apparently, that tow truck is very mobile.
Or there's several of them because this is the new easy way to steal cars.
They should think again.
For more, we go to Fox 11 and the one and only Ed Laskos.
New tonight, police are investigating a tow truck theft ring in Carson. Fox 11's Ed Laskos joining us live with more. Ed?
And Christine, it is a wide open investigation this late hour, always with the same MO, this unmarked white tow truck doing its dirty work in the middle of the night under the cover of darkness, always targeting the very same vehicles, in this case, in the very same neighborhood. Watch. The target on this night, this white Toyota Tacoma. On the far side, that's a tow truck. It backs in. It hooks up to the Toyota, hooks it right up in just seconds. In a blink of an eye, it's gone.
The way he uses the English language is like poetry.
Sometimes I think he should have replaced Vin Scully.
To the Toyota, hooks it right up in just seconds. In a blink of an eye, it's gone. The Toyota, stolen.
And in less than 30 seconds, they hooked up my back tires, lifted the back of the truck, and took it off. My alarm didn't go off.
I guess we got to all start putting on our parking brakes. Lock them wheels at night.
No, nothing like that.
But fast. I mean, in a blink of an eye.
Exactly. It was 30 seconds.
In and out.
Yeah, in and out.
It all goes.
Now I'm hungry.
Every time I leave the state, the first thing I do when I come back, I want an In-N-Out burger.
In and out.
Yeah, in and out.
That's what a hamburger is all about.
It all goes down in the middle of the night, in the middle of her driveway. Listen, as a neighbor runs out yelling, "Hey!"
I prefer Ed Laskos' dramatic recreation of that moment.
As a neighbor runs out yelling, "Hey!"
Well, I think Ed's getting on the wall today.
As a neighbor runs out yelling, "Hey!"
He's a national treasure, kids.
Ed Laskos, hey.
As a neighbor runs out yelling, "Hey!" There's no stopping it. Even 3 weeks later, just a block away, very same neighborhood, what appears to be the very same tow truck strikes yet again.
Exact same. Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro.
What are they going after Toyota Tacomas for?
I don't know. They're acting as if they're like Kias.
Exact same. Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. Came up, hooked it up the same way on the tow truck, lifted up, and took it out of here. Same thing.
That
Less
quick.
than 30 seconds. Yeah.
So obviously
in the blink of an eye, it was gone.
They're targeting.
They're
Toyota.
targeting. Mm-hmm.
This just the latest in a series.
Tow truck targeting Toyotas. There's some alliteration for you.
If you have a Toyota truck, park it in the garage.
But that means you'd have to get rid of all the crap that's in your garage.
That's true.
That's the place where things go away. We all need that.
I thought that was Lake Mead.
This just the latest in a series of tow truck thefts striking through the Southland, as Fox 11 News has been showing you the past few months. This San Bernardino just 5 nights ago. Looks like that same white tow truck, right? Hooking up, stealing another truck. Just takes 15 seconds here. But in the most recent Carson targets, there's something really alarming on security video that shows up just before the strike.
Black car pull up and park, and they sit there for about a minute and a half. The tow truck comes, hooks up, and takes off. Then that black car leaves. So what we think they're doing is they're having these spotter cars go around, spot what they want, almost like take an inventory, like we'll take that one, come, hook it up, and go.
It's supermarket sweep.
Of sorts.
And now live, that is why they're thinking this might be a sophisticated, organized crime ring here. Investigators trying to figure out where these stolen trucks are going.
Oh, they're in pieces. It's gone.
We just don't know. They're going to chop shops. They're going down to Mexico. Some thinking since we're close to the ports over there that they might be going overseas. All we know at this point, though.
What, they go drive them into a shipping container and send them off to Vietnam?
There's some guy in China who's just waiting for a boat full of stolen trucks.
That they might be going overseas. All we know at this point, though, is they want to shut it down. They want to find that white, unmarked tow truck. For now, we are live here. Carson, back to the west side we go.
It shouldn't be this hard to find a large, white tow truck that has no signage or phone numbers or anything.
No, and it's going on in heavily populated areas. Rancho Cucamonga, Carson, what city's next?
So there you go. Ed Laskos with his first big report of 2026.
As a neighbor runs out yelling, "Hey!"
All right, Randy, it's time to reopen the blotter.
It's happened yet again. It's Wild Wild West out here.
It's the California Crime Blotter with John
And Randy.
And Randy, this one takes us to the happiest place on earth.
Well, it wasn't too happy for one family because there was a long line at the Indiana Jones ride. As it being one of the most fun rides at the park, it always has a long line, and I think they got rid of Fast Pass, and no one knows how to use the Genius thing. So what do you know? Someone cuts in line, and a man says, "Hey, you can't do that." And he got sucker punched for it.
That's not very nice.
For more, here's CBS LA.
The father recovering from serious injuries after getting into a fight with a family at Disneyland.
Well, his relatives say he confronted that family for cutting in line on a ride.
CBS LA's Nicole Com.
Yeah, some people don't take too kindly to that, especially because you can drink in parts of the park now.
Well, if you're cutting in line in the first place, you're not a stickler for rules.
CBS LA's Nicole.
Well, no. The person calling out the line cutting is the stickler for rules.
Yes, and the person who cut in line, they don't follow the rules.
CBS LA's Nicole Comstock is live in Anaheim for us with word there may have been no arrests in the case. Nicole.
Yeah, police say the man who threw punches in this case left the park almost immediately, and they're still looking for him. As for the other man who was hit, he's from Washington State, and he didn't want to go on camera tonight, but we were able to message with his wife. She says her husband is just a stickler for rules.
Told you.
And that's the only reason.
Look, if you're in a situation and your inner Larry David comes out, silence it. It's not going to get you anywhere.
Well, if this guy got hit in the jaw, now that he's back in Washington State, he can't even eat an apple.
And that's the only reason he said anything about the whole cutting in line situation. They never expected this to take a violent turn.
What did you expect to happen? Oh, I'm so sorry. I would never do that. I made my mistake.
How much you want to bet the person cutting in line was wearing a Raiders jersey?
This season?
Even on a Monday night, hundreds of families with kids are filing in and out of Disneyland. But there was a little hiccup at the happiest place on earth last week. Police
Boy, they love this press.
say this man was punched in his head inside Disneyland during a dispute about people supposedly cutting in line for the Indiana Jones adventure.
I don't want to see no grown adults fighting. That's horrible.
You should have the ability to control yourself.
Yeah, no, this is not Jerry Springer.
Nice reference.
Well, the guy that threw the punch was more like Donald Duck. He has a temper.
As parkgoers condemn the childish behavior, police are still searching for the guy who allegedly threw those punches.
There's always two sides of the story. We don't know what that person said or did, or even if that person is injured. So we are encouraging the other person who was involved in this altercation to please contact the Anaheim Police Department so we can get a statement from him.
The injured man's wife.
I'm surprised with, all the security measures that Disney has that they don't have 18,000 camera shots of this guy as soon as this incident happened.
Oh, I'm sure they do. But I'm sure that Disney also has a bias to make this go away.
The injured man's wife.
I mean, if you don't go to Disney jail for this, what do you go to Disney jail for?
I wonder if Prop 36 applies at Disney jail.
The injured man's wife posted about the assault on Reddit, where she messaged with me in detail, saying her husband just told the group no line cutting, it's not allowed. To which a woman in the group replied, "We don't care."
Well, she sounds like a prize.
I really don't miss not going to theme parks.
She says a man in the group then sucker punched him. Her husband didn't fight back, she says, because he didn't want to get kicked out of the park and ruin the rest of the family trip.
This is the hold that Disneyland has on people. What was described in the Reddit thread from the wife is that the reason the husband just sat there and took punch after punch after punch to the face was if he fought back, he was worried he'd get blacklisted and could not come back to Disneyland. So he just sat there getting punched and punched and punched so he would be allowed to return on a future visit to the Mouse House.
Now, that is a guy who loves Space Mountain.
Her husband didn't fight back, she says, because he didn't want to get kicked out of the park and ruin the rest of the family trip. Disneyland staff bandaged him up, but he later needed stitches.
Do you think they have Mickey Mouse Band-Aids?
Oh, I'm sure they have it all.
Hats off to him for sticking with the bandage to the park.
People say it should be a teachable moment for adults.
I think adults got to be better, right? And I don't think we can teach kids how to be better unless we are better.
Now, I'm sure there's tons of footage on cameras about this incident. I'm sure there's people following Mr. Sucker Punch from his entire day at the park. Do you think he got on Indiana Jones after the hotel bar or after the tiki bar?
Oh, no. This guy was pre-gaming, and then he snuck a flask in.
My recommendation is don't get involved. I mean, at the end of the day, it would cost you just a few more minutes to wait to get to your ride. But
I mean, what are you going to do? Do you think this guy, and again, not to blame the victim here, but do you think he goes after all the people that are definitely faking it in the wheelchairs?
That's hard to tell. Because sometimes, and I've seen this happen before, I've seen someone confront someone in a wheelchair alleging that they aren't actually crippled. And the answer is, well, I have lupus, or I have something that you can't see. You may not be able to see my disease. It's not like having a broken leg, but I have it. That's usually what the answer is.
Yeah, just not worth it, really.
We also reached out to Disneyland for a comment, but they're letting police handle all the questions about this investigation. Anaheim police would like to hear from any other witnesses who were around at the time, particularly if any of those people had video of this incident.
Oh, I'm sure it's going around everywhere.
And there's 0% chance the person who threw the punches is going to turn themselves in.
Reporting live in Anaheim, Nicole Comstock, CBS LA.
All right, Nicole, thank you.
So there you go. Guy calls out line cutting at the Indiana Jones ride and gets sucker punched for it. Won't fight back because he doesn't want to get kicked out.
Disneyland, this is very Six Flags of you.
That is accurate.
But right now, it's time to reopen the California Crime Blotter.
It's happened yet again.
I see. Time for the California Crime Blotter.
And this next edition takes us to the city of Irvine, which usually is a city that is without crime unless Katie Porter loses her temper.
No!
But the difference between an Orange County crime story and a Los Angeles County crime story is more often than not, the LA County crime story ends with no arrests were made, and the Orange County crime story starts with people were arrested. With that, it's time to go after some purse thieves in Irvine. Let's go to KTLA.
A handbag heist caught on camera in Irvine. Police catch two men red-handed after breaking into a high-end handbag store, then try to escape with around $100,000 in luxury merchandise.
That's grand larceny.
Officers cornered the suspects and used K-9 units to get them to surrender.
KTLA's Mary Beth.
How did they use the K-9s?
That's a good question.
What were they trained to maul?
Crotches?
KTLA's Mary Beth McDade joins us live from Irvine, where the would-be burglars were busted. Mary Beth.
Yes, and Mike and Sherry, this store has been targeted twice before by thieves who got away. But this morning's burglars weren't so lucky. And police are crediting a quick-thinking security guard, the store's owner, and security cameras with helping them catch the culprits. Surveillance cameras capture suspected thieves scale a wall and break into an Irvine high-rise around 4 Monday morning. Once inside the office building located at Jamboree and DuPont, they entered a high-end handbag store and can be seen stealing the pricey purses.
They're really going with it with the alliteration in this story, and I'm here for it.
Oh, me too.
They tried to get away, but didn't get far, thanks to an astute security guard who called 911.
So that's what the security guard is really for? To call the actual law enforcement.
But the people in Orange County, they don't play.
Well, an Irvine PD usually has nothing to do. So the response times are real quick.
Yeah, they do have things to do on occasion. For example, whenever anyone pisses Katie Porter off, I think they're on a tactical alert.
I just had a feeling that this story that has nothing to do with Katie Porter, because it's in Irvine, would be full of shots at Katie Porter.
You would be correct, sir.
Who called 911.
The security guard said that two men walked up to the glass area and started looking around, and they believed that they were about to be burglarized.
Irvine police were quickly dispatched.
Our dispatcher immediately jumped on the security cameras, which were nearby, and saw two men walking in the bush line area of the business, and eventually those men jumped over onto the balcony area of the building.
Officers arrived on.
And what was the plan after that?
You think if Katie Porter was there, she would be a vigilante and make a citizen's arrest?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Officers arrived on.
Sometimes this is the Pile on Katie show. Not saying I'm against it, just an observation.
Officers arrived on scene and set up a perimeter around the building, making sure there was no way for the suspects to escape.
We're fortunate we received.
This is how the Irvine PD responds to purse thieves. They don't take too kindly to crime in Irvine.
No, they don't.
We're fortunate we receive assistance.
Once you get that ranking as America's safest city, you do everything you can to keep it that way.
Oh, and if there's anything that you can't allow to happen, you can't allow Mary Poppins to get robbed.
We're fortunate we receive assistance from our partners at the Costa Mesa Police Department, who provided a drone to help us with the perimeter as well.
Irvine police
also another city that doesn't have a lot to do. Costa Mesa
Nope.
PD.
Well, they do have South Coast Plaza, and they have all the drunks that are coming in off of the bars over there near Newport.
Well, there is that.
Irvine police also got a call from the store's owner
and said the alarm was going off inside and that there were two people inside actively taking merchandise.
Officers began searching the building.
There were several announcements made on the public announcement system for the building, as well as announcements throughout. They wouldn't come out and surrender immediately.
Then, with the help of a K-9...
Wait, what was with the dance music?
Yeah, that seems out of place.
Immediately.
Then, with the help of a K-9, officers found the two men hiding in one of the building's offices. And about $100,000.
Oh, is the music just blasting throughout this entire scene?
It must be.
And about
I know the Orange County kids like their raves.
And about $100,000 worth of merchandise found in a nearby stairwell. 40-year-old Richard Spencer of L.A. and 30-year-old Marcellus Shelby of Hollywood were.
What do you know? They're both from L.A. County. Guess they didn't see that sign that Todd Spitzer has right on the border.
Oh, yeah. Keep your crime in L.A. Don't bring it to Orange County, because if you do, if you rob a handbag store, we're going to send in the police dogs, and I'm going to personally direct Old Yeller to give you rabies.